What's up, everybody? It's your boy Kevin, aka Groovy Cod. This time, bringing you guys a new video, a more personalized video. I want to get to know my audience a bit better and my subscribers. So, I decided to create a bunch of topics that I wanted you guys to vote on. And according to the poll, you guys wanted me to do a video comparing my personal experience of Thailand and the Philippines. First and foremost, I would like to thank you guys for 2,000 subscribers. Without you guys and your support, I wouldn't have the courage to keep uploading and doing what I do. So thank you so much for subscribing to my channel and showing me support and love. I appreciate that. Thailand and the Philippines, these are two countries located in Southeast Asia. Both have their own culture, environments, different type of people, food, religion, all that. I wanted to cover the difference between these two countries because Thailand was actually one of my first ever big vacations to Southeast Asia, and the Philippines was my very last country I just came back from. I'm now in Canada actually making this video. First, I want to cover my experience that I've had in Thailand. Thailand is a very beautiful country. I went to quite a few places when I first traveled there. My first place in mind was Bangkok, of course, that's where I landed. Then I went to Pattaya and I went to Phuket. Pattaya and Phuket, these are two different parts of Thailand, Pattaya being in the central part of Thailand, while Phuket being in the south part of Thailand. When I first arrived in Thailand, I didn't know what to expect. If you travel to Thailand, bring money with you, whether it be Canadian dollars, if you're coming from Canada, US dollars, Australian dollars, British pound, wherever it may be, bring enough with you so that you can convert it into the local currency. I wouldn't suggest converting money at the airport right as soon as you land because you might not get the best conversion rates, but do bring enough money so that once you leave the airport, you can go out to a place that a foreign exchange currency exchange place and get yourself a much better rate in converting Canadian dollar, US dollar, or British pound, whatever it is. Okay, you will definitely need money for your stay. You could also use your credit card where credit card is accepted, but before you do travel, you're gonna need to call your credit card company, and you're also gonna need to call your bank to let them know that you're gonna be in these countries for this set amount of time. Because I did run into an issue when I was in Thailand where I tried withdrawing money from an ATM and my card was rejected. My bank blocked my card. They thought that something fraudulent was going on, and I actually had to call them while I was in Thailand for them to unblock it and let them know that I was here and I was trying to withdraw 10,000 Thai baht from the ATM. So do let your bank branch and credit card company know this. Get yourself a translation app. Now, the difference that I've experienced personally between Thailand and the Philippines was the language barrier. When I was in Thailand, don't expect everyone to speak English. There may be some people that can speak English fluently. There's people that can speak it with an accent. Maybe they know 50% English. Don't expect everyone in Thailand to speak English. And before you go there, do learn some basic Thai words. It's how to say hello, sawadee krab, how to say how are you, sabadi mai krab, thank you, kab kun kab. You notice how I'm bowing my head when I'm doing this? That is a part of their culture. In Thailand, when you greet someone, you have to put your hands like this, so you have to bow. Okay, it's a sign of respect. Be mindful when you go to these countries. You don't want to just wave your hand like this and say hello. You want to learn about their culture, their language. So then that way they see that you're a foreigner, you respect, their culture and their way of doing things. In the Philippines, I had a completely different experience. I tried to learn a bit of Tagalog before I went there. Turns out in Cebu City, they spoke mostly Visaya as opposed to Tagalog, which I didn't know about. I thought that they just speak Tagalog everywhere. But as I was in Cebu City, majority of people spoke Visaya, which is a similar in a way as Tagalog, but it has its own dialect. I didn't need to learn any of that stuff because believe it or not, when I was in the Philippines, they spoke English fluently. I had a full-on conversation with the Grab driver from the airport, as I was in the Philippines. He spoke English very well. He told me some basic phrases and words I should know, things to look out for, and I was shocked at how well he spoke English there. So I had a completely different experience with the language from Thailand as opposed to the Philippines. Expect in Thailand, not everybody's going to know English. You're going to need to know some Thai phrases. In the Philippines, I didn't need to worry so much about learning the language because many people spoke English. As a matter of fact, English is the second language spoken in the Philippines. Okay. So those are two things you want to bear in mind when you travel to either one of these countries. For any first time visitors going to Southeast Asia, I recommend you get a app on your phone called Grab and Bolt. If Bolt's not available in the Philippines, download Grab. Grab app is a very useful app where you can basically get an Uber service. You could link your credit card to your account. You also get a first time user promo code when you download Grab to save yourself a bit of money. This is your way of getting around the city by a taxi cab. You could do local taxi, but I do want you guys to bear in mind that if you're a foreigner coming into this country, you might be paying more with a local taxi, whilst if you use Grab, you can save yourself quite a bit of money. Another thing you need to bear in mind when you travel to these countries, you need to get an eSIM for your smartphone. You can get an eSIM as soon as you land, right at the airports. I recommend that's one of the first things you get, and you'll be able to use the data on your phone and you'll be able to call yourself a Grab from the airport. That's something you must have when you travel to these countries. When it comes to traveling, I want you guys to do research before coming, whether or not you need to fill out a visa or do a registration in eVisa. In Thailand, I think now they've incorporated a new rule where you need to have a proof of an e-visa filled out to get through immigration. I think it's quite quick, the process. You should do it before you decide to travel here and have that ready. You also need an e-visa when you go to the Philippines. It's a very fairly quick process that you do online. Takes less than maybe 10 minutes to complete. And once you have that, you can get through immigration easily and be able to enjoy your stay here in these two countries. When it comes to the food in the Philippines versus Thailand, both of these countries offer amazing food choices, with Thailand being more on the spicy side. I find a lot of their dishes contain Thai chilies, fish oil, and different types of herbs like Thai basil and mint. While as in the Philippines, there is a lot of rice dishes. There's also a lot of pork as a meat option. You could get chicken and beef as well if you have any dietary restrictions in either the Philippines or Thailand. But I find that pork was mostly consumed in the Philippines because there's, spam salog, there's chorizo salog, there's pork ribs, lechon, that type of stuff. So if you're not a person that consumes pork, you could opt in for chicken and other options, beef, but there definitely was a lot of pork. There's also pork dishes in Thailand, but there's also a lot of seafood dishes, dishes containing crustaceans, shrimp, crab, that type of stuff. So for those that do not eat, certain types of seafood or pork, always ask for alternative options as they do have alternative meat options in these countries. Also, if you are allergic to peanuts, there's also a lot of dishes in Thailand containing peanuts, like pad thai, for example. So definitely make it aware to anybody serving food that you do have these dietary restrictions or allergies before they prepare the meals, because last thing you want to do is get an allergic reaction or get sick in a foreign country, and if you don't have travel insurance, you'll be screwed as well. So both of these places, they offer amazing dishes. I love the food in the Philippines. As you guys can see from what I've been posting, I had different things like mango soup. I had lechon. I had rib shack. I had Jollibee. They also have a chicken place called Kenny Rogers in the Philippines, which is just as great. I enjoyed halo halo. That was probably one of my favorite desserts in the Philippines. Thailand, I really liked the Thai food. I really liked pad krapao. pad thais, tom yum goong. That was such an amazing soup. It helped me, clear out my sinus with all the chilies and all that. You will love the food from both Thailand and the Philippines. And they do have fast food. So if like your Taco Bell, your KFC, that type of stuff, McDonald's, they have them in both of these countries as well. Because I know as a foreigner, sometimes we get that Big Mac craving, sometimes we get that cheeseburger craving, and we can't settle with the local food. We gotta have our fast food as well. So they do have those options in both of these countries. In terms of friendliness, both Thai people and Filipinos are friendly, just as long as you are respectful of them as well. Be respectful of the culture, be respectful of the people. When you are in Thailand, if you go to places like Pattaya, be mindful if you are a vlogger, person that does YouTube just like me to gain engagement and viewers online. Not everybody wants to be on video, not everybody wants to be recorded. So always be mindful when you're going out and you're shooting. You're always asking permission before you film a person because people tend to get pretty angry if you film them without permission. I've seen people, record themselves outside of massage places in Thailand, and there's, women sitting out, massage ladies that tell them there's no filming her allowed. You have to pay me money. There are signs posted all around Thailand for filming. People do get hit with a fine if they're not allowed to film or without permission. So always ask for permission, or some people, they don't mind you filming, like, if you obviously give them some money. Some of these massage places saw I was a customer paying, they didn't mind me filming. I asked them for permission to do so, and they allowed me to do so. So always get permission before filming. There was one YouTuber in the Philippines, he was going around, poor, uh, areas in the Philippines and filming, underage, filming children without their permission, without their parents' consent, and he did get into a bit of a legal issue recently, and is facing deportation. I'm not sure if it's around what he does on his YouTube channel or if it's because of overstaying his visa. I'm hearing different things from different sources, but he is facing some legal issues and is being deported from the Philippines as we speak. Always follow the rules when you go to these countries because you may not know that you're breaking a rule until you go there. But the last thing you want to do is end up with a fine or end up in jail. When I went to Thailand, I did some research. I found out that if you bring a drone to, get aerial shots, you do have to register your drone online and you have to have the proper documentation and paperwork. Be mindful if you do bring a drone and you want to, film stuff aerial, that you have the proper documentation and paperwork. I did everything online and got my paperwork so I could fly my drones. Because in Thailand, if you fly your drones without the proper documentation and the police stop you could get a really big fine or even land yourself in jail. And the jail time, I believe, for flying a drone unregistered is around 10 years. So definitely look up the laws before traveling to these countries and make sure you're not breaking any rules, breaking any laws. And that goes into my next topic, which I'm going to talk about, which is dating. Dating in Thailand versus the Philippines. Now, I know some people go there looking for love, some people go there looking for short-term fun. From my personal experience, if you go to Thailand and you go to Pattaya, which is a very well-known nightlife area, I would say Pattaya is like the adult version of Disneyland because there's so much things catered towards adult entertainment in that part of Thailand. If you are looking for short-term fun, go have your short-term fun, but just know that you pose yourself a risk of being exploited for money, being exploited for something, and it's definitely not a real or genuine connection. Going to Pattaya, dating a bar girl, that's all just a facade. It's not a real, genuine connection. The bar girl wants money from you in exchange for her time. So just be mindful when you go there for pay for play. You're nobody. You're just a player in the game, paying for some fun. There's nothing serious. It's not a real relationship. The opposite experience I had in the Philippines was I actually went on the dating apps. That's actually how I came across Tonya. So me and Tonya, we met on a dating app and we had exchanged conversations and decided to meet up in person. And that's how we kicked it off. So I would say if you want to date in Thailand and the Philippines, You could use dating apps, or you can just approach in person the good old fashioned way. If you like a girl and you see she's attractive, you can approach her, you can have a conversation with her, you can try to pick her up that way. That is the best way, in my opinion. But there's also dating apps. And dating apps, you want to be mindful because there are scammers as well on dating apps. People like freelancers, like that may just want, pay for play service, money in exchange for their time. They use dating apps a lot in both Thailand and the Philippines. So be mindful when you are on those apps, you're meeting and coming across the right person. Take some time to get to know this person better. Don't ever rush a relationship. Seen many guys go there because they're spending a short amount of time. They're just very desperate looking for love. If things are moving along too quickly, she's already coming into your place within the first week talking about getting married, talking about settle down, could be a red flag. So be mindful of that when you're in these foreign countries. Take your time to really get to know somebody before you actually decide to settle down and have a long-term relationship with them, or even say I love you, right? Because it's easy for somebody to meet somebody and say I love you off the bat, but that's kind of like, whoa, what's the whole reason for this rush? Another thing is, if you are going to be sleeping with anyone in these countries, always wear a condom, right? The last thing you want to do is leave a Filipina or a Thai woman pregnant on your vacation, because that could destroy your life. So always play it safe, wear a condom if you can. Where you choose to travel to is completely up to you. My experience from Thailand differed very differently from the Philippines. Filipinos are very friendly, very welcoming. I was very fortunate to have met the person I did, Tonya, in the Philippines, as she was very open and kind to, let me stay at her home there. Her family were just as great. They cooked for me, they took care of me like I was a son. I got to truly experience what it was like to live like a Filipino in their home. As you can see from the video, the bathroom, the toilet doesn't flush. So I had to learn to fill the bucket up and throw it to use the toilet. Not all toilets are like that in the Philippines or Thailand. In Thailand, they have a lot of toilets with the spray hose bidet next to, so you don't actually have to wipe your butt. You can actually wash it. There's also toilets like that in the Philippines, and it was a good experience. I got to enjoy great food, culture, meet some amazing people. I was there. I got to sing karaoke in the Philippines. So I got the full on experience when I was there. Where you choose to travel is solely up to you, but just be mindful. The difference is mostly between the languages. Like I said, had a much harder time communicating with the locals in Thailand as opposed to the Philippines, where they openly speak English. So that's the main difference I find between those two countries. Watch out for pickpocketers. I was unfortunate to lose my phone in Angeles City. As I was looking at my phone on the GPS, motorcyclist came and drove by with an assailant on the back seat, snatched the phone right out of my hands. Made a police report about it. Still didn't get my phone back. So definitely protect your phone with your life there, because, the last thing you want to do is get your phone snatched in a foreign country and not be able to access important things that you would on a smartphone device. Both amazing countries with their own different experiences. Thailand, more Buddhist temples. The religion is predominantly Buddhist, but there is also Muslim mosques, and there are also Christians living in Thailand. Same with the Philippines. There may be some Buddhists, but predominantly Catholic. There are a lot of Catholics in the Philippines. There are some Christians, and there are also Muslims there as well. If there are any other future topics you guys would like me to cover in the near future, please do make a suggestion below in the comments. I would love to cover any other topic. I also like to dive into why I even chose to do YouTube in the first place and content creation. In a future upload, I'll do a video on that. And if there's any other suggestions on videos you guys would like me to cover, like I said, comment below and I'll be glad to do that topic with you guys. Okay. Thank you guys so much for watching this video. Please leave a like down below and do subscribe to my channel. And I'll be sure to release amazing new content in the near future. Thank you guys so much. Peace out.